Listing fees, transaction fees, processing fees. If you're an Etsy seller, it's a lot of information to, process. Stay tuned because I'm going to detail all the different fees you'll have to pay as an Etsy seller. For many independent artists and crafters, Etsy has been a life changer. By simplifying the process of running an online store, Etsy has provided a means for its sellers to turn their hobbies into careers. However, Etsy has its downsides as well. Etsy's fee structure in particular gets a lot of criticism from sellers, and that's why I'm going to describe the 8 different types of fees all Etsy merchants need to be aware of. And afterwards, I'll discuss a few ways you can help offset these seller fees. And if you find this video has been helpful, be sure to click the like button and subscribe to our channel for more small business content. Now, Etsy's monthly fees are easy enough to understand. If you're on Etsy's standard plan, there are no monthly fees. If you sign up for Etsy's Plus plan, you'll pay $10 a month for advanced shop customization options, along with some other bonuses. Pretty simple so far, right? Unfortunately, this is where it gets complicated. Let's go through the 8 different types of Etsy fees that all Etsy merchants need to be aware of. First off, Etsy charges a 20-cent listing fee for each item you list on your Etsy online store. So if you have 10 identical mugs that you're selling individually, you can list all of these mugs under the same product page. But after each one sells, you have to pay another 20 cents to renew the listing. But if you sell the pack of 10 mugs as one product, you'll only pay one 20-cent listing fee. Listing fees expire after 4 months when you'll have to pay the listing fee to renew again. And listings can be set to renew automatically. Etsy charges a transaction fee to cover the cost of using their platform. Etsy's transaction fee is 5% of the price you charge for your product, including the cost of product customization and gift wrapping. For US and Canadian sellers, Etsy does not charge transaction fees on sales tax unless you include the cost of sales tax in your listing price. But for sellers outside the US and Canada, these transaction fees might include the cost of some taxes. In addition to charging a fee on each transaction, Etsy also collects a fee on the amount you charge for shipping. Etsy's shipping transaction fee is 5% of the total cost your customers pay for that shipping. In order to accept online payments, all merchants must pay payment processing fees. Keep in mind, this is completely separate from the Etsy transaction fee that I discussed earlier. Etsy Payments is Etsy's own in-house payment processor, which sellers must use to accept payments if they're in one of the 36 eligible countries, including the US, UK, Australia, and Canada. When a customer makes a purchase through your Etsy store, Etsy Payments charges 3% plus 25 cents per transaction. Etsy Payments lets you accept payments by credit, debit, Etsy gift card, Etsy credit, PayPal, some bank transfer services, Apple Pay, and Google Pay. You can also allow your customers to pay using their PayPal accounts. Etsy payment rates will apply to these payments instead of PayPal rates. Etsy also partners with Square to offer sellers an option for in-person selling. In order to accept in-person payments, you'll need a Square card reader. When you accept payments in person for items that you have listed on your Etsy site, you'll pay the usual listing fees as well as Square's payment processing fees, which are 2.6% plus 10 cents per transaction, but you will not pay the 5% Etsy transaction fee. If you want to build a more personalized online store, Etsy has an option for you called Pattern. Pattern is website building software that allows you to develop your own store that is still connected to your Etsy seller account. Pattern costs $15 a month to use, and you can test Pattern for free for 30 days, and after the trial period ends, the monthly Pattern fee will show up on your Etsy payment account, plus tax where applicable. Product listings that appear only on Pattern and not on Etsy do not incur a listing fee. If you already had a product listed on Etsy and you want to list it on Pattern as well, you do not need to pay an additional listing fee because you've already paid one to Etsy. What's more, Pattern listings do not expire. Etsy recommends that sellers list their pricing in the same currency as their payment account currency in order to avoid foreign exchange charges. Customers are able to select the currency in which they view listings, so listing your products in one particular currency shouldn't impact your sales at all. However, if you don't do this and you list your products in a different currency than your payment account, you will be charged a 2.5% currency conversion fee. You can also avoid Etsy's currency conversion fees by receiving payments via PayPal. Etsy also offers some marketing tools for sellers, including on-site and off-site ads. Of course, these ads come with their own fees. Etsy gives sellers the option of marketing their products within the marketplace via Etsy ads. These ads come with pay-per-click pricing, and the cost of each click will vary depending on demand. You can set a budget that limits the amount you're willing to pay for on-site ads daily, and Etsy will list your ads only until you reach that daily maximum. Etsy's Offsite Ads program works differently though. Under this program, Etsy markets your products on major sites like Google, Facebook, and Instagram for you. And when someone clicks an ad that includes one of your products and then purchases from your Etsy shop within 30 days, you're charged an advertising fee on that order total. The fee is 15% if you made under $10,000 in sales in the past year, and 12% if you made over $10,000 in the past year. All sellers are automatically enrolled in the Offsite Ads program, but if you've made less than $10,000 in sales in the past year, you can opt out. Unfortunately, if you made over $10,000 in the previous year, you cannot opt out of the Offsite Ads program, even if you later fall below the $10,000 sales threshold. And understandably, this has not been received well by the Etsy seller community. They are not happy. So now that you know what all the different Etsy fees are, how can you help offset some of these fees? Here are a few ways you can stay on top of those seller fees and get them down. The most obvious way to protect your profits is to increase product pricing. Now, you might worry that increasing your prices will make you less competitive. While this can be the case, some Etsy sellers report that their sales actually didn't decrease after they raised their prices, perhaps because buyers often view higher priced items as higher quality. The obvious next step is to rethink the way you handle both production and shipping. Is there any way you can make your products more quickly or affordably without hurting quality? As for shipping, are you comparing options from multiple shipping carriers to make the most cost-effective decisions possible? If there's an area where you can lessen your expenses, absolutely do so. You could see a big difference. If you can choose whether or not to use offsite ads, consider that if you don't opt out, you'll likely get a number of sales that you wouldn't otherwise, but you'll also need to leave space in your profit margins for that occasional 15% fee. Your listings also renew every 4 months at an additional 20-cent fee each time, so make sure your listed products move within 4 months, and don't keep stale listings around, because over time they may end up costing you more than the product is worth itself. The Etsy community is a strong bunch of sellers with a lot of accumulated knowledge. Ask the Etsy community forum for ways sellers are handling Etsy fees and to get specific advice on your own store. After considering all of this, if you'd rather try selling on another platform, check out our video on the alternatives to Etsy to see what other choices you have. I'll go ahead and link that in the description below. As always, let us know about any questions you have in the comments, and thank you for watching, Mavericks.